Welcome to the Mentor Studio, where today's thought leaders and leading entrepreneurs inspire and bring real-world ideas that help you take your career to levels you've only dreamed of. Now buckle in. Here's your host, Michael Silvers.
Hey everybody, I know most of you can't see us, but I wanted to welcome you to the Mentor Studio. And you'll be hearing this 10 years from today. Yes, we're in COVID-19 and we're all at our homes doing everything that we should to help others and also make a difference in our lives. The Mentor Studio is really here for all of you. Please join us on our YouTube feed, the Mentor Studio. Just subscribe to it. That would be great. You can also go to www.thementorstudio.com. We have the mess. Now, if you're listening to us 10 years from today, everything's there already. We have a holding place right there, and within a month or less, we're going to have the full membership site going up. We're also partnering with some other large companies we're very excited by, with some stars coming on. So it just gets better and better. And we have a rock star today, I'll tell you that right now. So, and I'm going to let Blair tell you a little bit about her background and really what she does. But she has an incredibly successful gym in the Chicago area. You know, wellness is a big part of her background. She's done that for so many people. Rock Solid Health is what it's called. Blair Rockoff is our guest. And I'll tell you the part of it too is that she has shifted through what's going on. And she'll tell you that story too, because she's gone from obviously people able to be at the gym to virtual. And now that virtual will stay even as we start to, as eventually, I know Chicago just got another 30 days, but as it starts to loosen up a little bit, that would be great. So I'm so excited to have all of you on. Thank you for listening. Everybody, big give a round of applause for Blair. And hi, Blair, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, really awesome. Just great to have you on. And I was just actually running around the backyard, so I can see I look a little redder than normal, but that's okay. It's beautiful, right? Sunny in Seattle, you go outside, but I'm staying, I'm doing good. I'm not running to the beaches like everybody in California, and the governor just had a little cow about that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You heard about that, huh?
Yeah.
A little bit about your background.
Sure. I got into the fitness world after college back in 2007. I've always been into sports and just play recreation. And after college, I just knew I didn't want a desk job, and I found myself enrolling in a personal training school that was down the street from where I was living. That led into yoga certifications and health coaching, all adding one on top of the other, just as a desire to get more engaged. And as the direction that my life went, I started to enroll in different things that I knew I could help myself with, and that led to helping other people. I was in Chicago when I first started, and then I moved to California and worked out there for a couple years, working at big gyms as well as working at things like a weight loss camp. So a totally different environment with different people. After a couple of years out there, I made my way back to Chicago and worked again at big gyms and yoga studios, and decided that I wanted to create the environment one day that I would work in, because I hadn't quite found it.
Right.
And I opened up my own studio in 2012. You know, everything I've done along the way has coincided with how I have helped myself through health and fitness, between nutrition and workouts and the things that I do. I'm kind of side by side with what I teach my clients is how I, put in things into place in my own life.
That's right. And, again, I was actually moving at the time. By the way, everybody, when like family and kids and everybody comes home it's the way it is nowadays, right? But I'm outside. You can't tell. Looks like I'm in Hawaii. So why'd you open a gym? Why'd you go down the business entrepreneurial route?
Oh, there was a lot of naivety there. I was young and didn't know any different.
Right.
I wasn't happy with where I was. I didn't feel like I had found the home. I didn't have great managers above me kind of guiding me or creating that team-like environment at the gyms I had been at. And when you work at yoga studios, it's a lot of in and out. You teach a class here and then you're at that studio. And so I just, I didn't feel like it was out there, at least not 8 years ago. And so, I just knew I wasn't going to stay at a big gym, where got to wait to find the machines you want and the stuff you want and all these people and the music and just the vibe. And so I thought, oh, I'll just rent my own space. And that's really how it started with, I thought, if I'm going to rent space, why don't I rent my own space instead of pay someone else for their space? And it kind of started like that. I thought I would do more group training and be able to help more people at one time. And then kind of realized over time, the best thing was a blend in the middle of one-on-one training and group training.
Right. And that's great. And now you've been there how long again?
It's my 7th year at the studio.
That's fantastic. So now, of course, you're at your studio, 7 years. And do you also engage and enlist business coaches, mentors? How does that look for you?
Yeah, so at my studio, I have trainers that work there for me. And then I have other people that I work with helping me to kind of expand upon where I am now and where things are going to go, especially in this very precarious time where we don't know, right? Like we were able to adapt and shift quickly. Yeah, I think the current situation definitely is a time for reflection on, what I want at least the next part of my life to look like, based on the changes we all have to make.
So now that we've gone into this change, because it's really taking a look at as our businesses shift, right? And sometimes we shift them, sometimes the external forces. Well, we had an external force, which is why this call will relate to anybody, 10 years, 20 years down the road, because there will always be external forces. So when you shifted, what was going on in your mind and how did you actually make the shift?
So I think maybe a week and a half before we were ordered to shelter in, I noticed there were several clients who started to kind of back away and were not coming in. And I honestly had no idea we would have ended up in the situation where we were, forced to close. But I remember I made the decision on a Sunday. I felt like we hadn't been ordered yet to close, but there was such a, I don't know, half the people maybe who are staying home. And I felt like I just didn't want to be part of the problem. I didn't want to be causing potential spread. And I felt it was a better decision to make the call that we were going to close up and turn virtual and just get proactive. So I made the call on a Sunday and I'd never used Zoom before, signed up for an account and we were online the next day. I just picked noon classes. I don't know. I thought everyone, maybe would be home. That could be their lunch hour. And we just shifted to our group training program online. So we rented out all of our weights to our clients. They picked up kettlebells and dumbbells. And sometimes we dropped them off at their houses. And so now that's what it looks like. We've kind of developed it. We're shifting it now that we have another month. We're going to add another class on and just see what everyone needs. Basically, we're just kind of serving the clients and seeing what they need. And for anyone who can't make our live classes, we send recordings, and some people like the flexibility.
I love it. So if I can make your live class, do I still get the recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you give me, so there's both choices and I get reinforced that you let your local clientele also rent the equipment. That's really awesome. But I know you've already had people moving outside your realm who are taking your courses. So for anybody out there, as you move to virtual or maybe you live in virtual, it's the kind of thing where there's that tendency, right? Blair, you could have said, oh, I need 6 months to figure this out, right? You could have
Mhm.
said, I need to rewrite everything. And you said, no. I mean, you literally launched it in a week. Um,
Yeah.
and, what it is for everybody out there with business, we have to have that tendency. And Blair, I know, was also talking to other people who's doing what in the industry, who's truly, creating this online virtual system. And what makes the difference is that you just did it. Why do you think you just took the risk and went? Because the classes in your mind could have not turned out so well. Clients could have dropped. These are long-term clients, and they always have the most comments. What
Yeah.
what made you just do it?
In my mind, there wasn't an option to not. I didn't plan to shut my business down, even
Mm-hmm.
though I had to close physically. And I knew we could still generate revenue. And I have, two trainers right now under me, and they need to support themselves. So it wasn't really like an option of will we do it or not. It was just how are we going to keep our clients healthy and fit during this time. And, it's not ideal circumstances when you're in your living room or you're on a second floor, or maybe you're in your bedroom. A lot of people are in a smaller apartment, but it really doesn't mean things can't get done. And I, over the last few weeks, have really noticed how important this is for people in what they're dealing with. So it's that 1 hour, whether we're doing a strength class or a yoga class, it's the 1 hour people are taking for themselves. And so we bring in a lot of like reflection into the workouts. Like I really want people to take a moment and see, well, what have you gotten better at this week? Without just being like, oh God, I was the worst, or that, nothing great happened. I'm just still stuck. It's like, wait, what'd you get better at? What do you
Mm-hmm.
like? What don't you like?
Mm-hmm.
What are you getting better at? And really get people engaged, which when I was on a webinar, I saw how well it worked when you have people write in the chat box things during the session. And I was like, that's a really good idea, even during the workout, to bring that element in. And for me, like, I'm not just someone who wants to teach a class and just send the video out. So engaging with, like, we're big on engagement. And, we have that community feel. So I want people to still have that with each other. Hey, come a few minutes early and like talk to, like this doesn't have to be just all serious. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can unmute yourself like too, be a part of it. Otherwise it's just me and I don't know what's happening. So we just did. And we know that it's really helping people's mental health to have this element. So it's kind of just the duty I feel to provide this.
But that's great because again, you made a decision, you moved forward. I love it that you said about engagement because we talk about all that time, in social media and marketing, it's all about engagement. And that you engage, first of all, that you had clients that moved to virtual so seamlessly. You picked up new clients, I know, but at the same time, you are willing to understand it's about engagement, but that's just who you are. And it's creating that community, of like-minded individuals. I love that you let everybody talk. I love that you let everybody interact. And where do you see this in the next 6 months to a year?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I focus so much on local, everyone like within a mile, right? Or within a half mile, like those are my ideal clients. And then creating either, if you're doing one-on-one training, then you can only have one 6 a.m., one 7 a.m. So, and then with group, you've got to either be early or late usually. And most people in fitness don't have ideal schedules in that regard. And, that's been my life for a really long time. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also given me a time to reflect, like, I'm not old, but I'm 36 and, your body gets tired and it's stressed too. And, sometimes you get used to it. You think you're used to the stress of, oh, I can do this early and late and in and out. And, I think I've really enjoyed the transition and to just different hours and just taking a moment to acknowledge what I was doing and what I want different for my life. And knowing that virtual is actually a platform that's easier for some people. Like I I got clients back who weren't working with me anymore because they were stay-at-home moms who couldn't, like their husband worked a different shift, and so they were never going to make it in. So they always had to work out at home or whatever. So, a client came back, or a client, she moved to the suburbs. And so, I'm now able to work with people who I had established a relationship with in some regard. So former clients can come back again, flexibility, like we can work with you and you don't have to ever set foot in the gym. And so it's opened my eyes to possibilities. And it's different than just the fitness classes that are out there, which is fine, right? Like just follow the workout, but
Right.
we have a plan, we have a monthly plan, and we stick to the plan, and it's a 3-day program, and so it's consistent. And when you have consistency, you then can get better. So we don't do different things every single day. Every Monday is the same for 4 weeks. Every Wednesday is the same for 4 weeks. You 100% feel the difference week 1 to week 4. Even from beginner to advanced. I started the program, like I wasn't doing these workouts, and I feel dramatically different doing our programming. Like it's great to feel that shift and change. And so I think what the next 6 months can bring, we are working on figuring out if there's just how we can tweak what we currently have to be even better. And we're also offering coaching programs regarding like nutrition and lifestyle alongside it. So I started a spring challenge the April 6th. So maybe 2 weeks or so after this all started. And again, I had 4 days to sell it because I wanted to start it at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 19 people doing it. And I think, what really hits home is that, right, someone said, well, I don't know if I'm ready to start on Monday. And I was like, you don't have to be ready to start on Monday, because if you do one thing different or better than you were doing today, you're doing the challenge. Like, I don't care if you check every box perfectly, because that's not real. Like, some people will, and that's fine. But if for you, doing anything better or having your mindset shift and have an emphasis on health or fitness when it wasn't, you're doing life better now. And so we want to blend both. So that's what I want to do. I want to blend fitness with nutrition and health coaching, and using those just help people from whether they're local, used to be a client, or new clients looking for a way to get fit and healthy. And maybe they don't want to go back to their gym. Maybe they can't go back to their gym for a while, or maybe it's just easier for them to work out at home.
Right. And I think you're finding that a lot of people are, they want both, but it is great to have this virtual option. It is great. And it's great to have it where it's also live, and it's not, because there's some places that are doing it live, but it's sort of cookie cutter. It's just because they're doing it for a mass. It's great what you're doing, because the class size is great. I know you can handle more people. It's great because of your background. It's great because you believe it and you're in it. It's great because you own a gym. So now you're also a business owner for over 7 years. So you're living it, you're breathing it. You're also doing a lot of work in personal development and in business. So you're becoming that well-rounded in your health and nutrition, which it's great because you do come from all, and you can refer them where they need to go. If maybe even you're not the right one for them, that you're open to all that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a big piece. Go ahead, Blair.
Like, there's definitely levels up beyond, whether it's in the physical world of chiropractor or PT, or in a nutrition world where there needs to be someone else involved. And we've got ourselves connected with different people that can help our clients so that they can do well with what we do well with, because it isn't everything.
That's right. Well, this has been fantastic. For everybody, usually we say drive time, right? So as you're driving and you're listening to this, that's great. Don't take notes till you get home. If for those of you at home, realize it's that mindset. The one thing Blair's done beautifully, it's the physical, it's the mental, it's the mindset. She's taken the courses. She's also the gym owner. And now she's the virtual online owner. So She's put all the pieces together as a helicopter passes right over. Don't hear many of those recently. Isn't that funny today? But you've really put that together. So what we're going to do is, for those of you who go to the Mentor Studio when that pops out, and for those of you on the Vertical Live, we'll have her bio and information if you want to contact her. Because the reason that we could say it right now, because then if you listen to it a year, it might be a little bit different. So you live on the site, you know where to go, you'd use our feed, and we'll get you her information. But just because we're on here anyways, Blair, what's the name of your gym?
So my gym is Rock Solid Health, and you can find us online, rocksolidhealthchicago.com, or we do a lot of stuff on Instagram and Facebook, just posting things that, again, will help motivate and inspire. And, it's not like every day is, especially now, right? Like today wasn't a great day. It rained all day. It's dark out. Like the reality starts to set in around what's happening. And, now more than ever, I think it's just really important to have people who can support you in a way where you can have the conversations you need to have. And like, all we expect is for people to be open enough to just take one step after the next in order to ultimately get to the destination they set for themselves. And it doesn't mean like you won't find resistance along the way. We all have that. Like, change is not easy, but building habits slowly over time is possible.
That's right. This has been great. Thank you so much for being on and spending time with us, because I know it's funny, even though a lot of us are at home, we're still busy, right? We have busy schedules. And you're running a virtual schedule and getting it all done. For those of you listening at home, wanted to thank you for being on the Mentor Studio with Blair Rockoff and myself, Michael Silvers. If you have any questions, you know how to reach us. It's a great day. Blair, any last words you want to let them go with?
Whether this is now or in 5 years or the future, I think that just being open and accepting wherever you are at this point, and knowing that, right, any step forward, whether you think it's small or not, is a step forward. And that's really the mindset that will make you successful over time.
Awesome. Blair, you're amazing. Thank you for being on. For those at the Mentor Studio, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Go to our YouTube channel, The Mentor Studio. Love to have you on there. www.thementorstudio.com. It will be going live. We already have the big group in Facebook. We decided just to do that for all of you to really build out the membership, and then also have you part of there's much more to come, which I'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks. So thank you all for being on. Blair, you're the best. Everybody, whatever time it is in the world, morning, afternoon, or evening, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all very, very, very soon. Goodbye, everyone.
We're honored that you invested time with us today at the Mentor Studio. Now, don't be greedy. Share this knowledge bomb with all your dope peeps on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Actually, we'll even pay you to do it. To get the deets, please check out thementorstudio.com.